Hello and welcome to Head and Shoulders, where we cover athletes' performances and otherwise that are head and shoulders above the rest. And since this is Tokyo 2020 or 2021, we got an honorary graphic for them. Before we get into today's topic, definitely like, comment, and subscribe. We're looking for 10,000 subscribers by the end of October or sometime in November. Let's see if we can get there. And before we get into today's topic, I want to cover somebody that otherwise wouldn't be. This is Danielle Thomas Dodd in shot put. She is the world championship silver medalist coming into the Olympics this year. And I like to point her out because this is covering Jamaica. So that's why I'm covering Jamaica. We have obviously fantastic United States athletes and other athletes from other nations, but sometimes people do not search out videos for these people. So I want to cover her just for the next 30 seconds because I know the attention span of people are short before you go next video. So here's her honors right here. She is second in Doha for the shot put, and she's still coming back pretty strong this year. She's actually ranked 11th in the world this year. She was 4th at the World Championships in London. Before that, World Indoor in 2018, she got 2nd. So as far as that Pan American Games champion in 2019, I think she's got a lot of work still due for her because she was ranked 3rd in 2019, and then she finished 2nd at the championships, but she's 11th this year. And it is a very, very strong field with the Rio silver medalist leading the field right here. And if I'm not mistaken, did she get from China, and she get 4th or 2nd? 4th, actually world champion in Doha. That is my mistake. So she's double world champion, and then she got 2nd or 4th at Rio, 2nd at the London Olympics, 3rd there. So as far as that, if you all are Jamaican fans or you like to cover shot put, definitely put your energy behind Danielle Thomas Dodd. Now let's move over to today's topic, as I wanted to just do a quick honor right there. Will the Jamaican women miss the 4x1 world record again? And some of you are like, wait, again? Really? When did they have a chance to get to the 4x1 world record before, where they were above and beyond? So I want to cover, what is that? How do you say? The elephant in the room. Yeah, the elephant in the room. Yeah, I know this picture of Elaine Thompson is kind of appropriate, or maybe this one for Shericka Jackson. Let's cover the elephant in the room. Jamaica owns some of the fastest times in the 4x1 in the history of it, and has yet to break the world record in the 4x1, which is very, very interesting if you really think about it, because they consistently put together some very fast teams. But here is a comparison, a side-by-side comparison of both of them. I don't have this full one on the screen, so let's shrink this up a little bit more so you guys can see the times. Maybe you can't see the times on the left because of how the screen is. So I'm gonna have to do something. All right, so we fixed it here. So what you see on the left side, now you can see the best times. This is coming from 2012, when the US broke the women's 4x1 world record. And you can actually take a look here. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce right here. So very interesting that between one Olympics to the next one, this is 2016 on the right, 2012 on the left, that the top time was 10:7 by a Jamaican athlete, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce in 2012, and then Elaine Thompson in 2016. But here's the thing. Both the US team and the Jamaican team were faster than the world record, than the open times for the athletes that broke the world record by the US in 2011. Yet neither one of the teams could get the world record at that time. And that kind of shows you, this is why we run. We don't just hand somebody a world record and say, well, you know what? You get the win. You got the fastest time of the year. And for people that keep saying in the comment section, the U.S. can't reproduce their times at the championships. Well, it isn't always about reproducing times. It's about winning when it comes to the championship. Because if you really think about it, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce and Elaine Thompson did not reproduce, quote unquote, their times at the Olympics at all. It's not about reproducing times. At that point, it is about, can you beat the other person on the line? And they're just like in distance races where they have a pace setter for most of those, and then they get to the championships and they might run a different strategy where one person might be a quote unquote front runner and he goes out, there is no pacer for him, and other people will go behind him, or it's a tactical race. It's different when it comes to the championships. You got one-off races, which could be these. Obviously, that was a Jamaican championship, so they weren't one-off or anything like that. But then you got other ones that are rounds and everything. So it's a different way to run them. With that being said, will Jamaica miss this again? Because the reason why I say Jamaica and not pointing out any other nation is because this year, Jamaica is far and above, head and shoulders above everybody else in terms of on the paper times. On the paper. Remember, on paper, in 2016, as I'm showing you right here in 2016, both the US and Jamaica with actually the edge toward the US here, regardless of the results in in Rio. On paper, both the US and Jamaica have faster times. If you look at the four athletes, they average out to be faster times. But what was the difference between 2012 and 2016? It's just, hey, good baton exchanges. Maybe Allison Felix was running above herself. Carmelita Jetta ran the fastest anchor leg of all time for any other athlete in the history of the 4x1. So you get all of those things together, you're gonna have to have a special performance as well. Because even when, was it East Germany or was it West Germany that held the world record for a very long time, there were plenty of athletes on paper for the US and Jamaica to have beaten that record, but then they held it for over 20 years or nearly 30 or something like that until the US team broke it. So this is why we run. What is it gonna take for the Jamaican women to break this world record? I'm gonna tell you right here. So number one is, also, here's the thing that comes into the times. Let's say Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, let's look to this year now. Let's go to 2021. All right, as it's loading up. Let's look at the athletes that are most likely to run in the final. And it depends on if Thompson-Herah decides to pull out because she might be straining with an injury or something, just like what she did in Doha. But let's just say it's Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, Elaine Thompson-Herah, Brianna Williams, and Shericka Jackson as the most likely contenders for the final of the 4x100 meter relay. Let's just say this is what it is instead of anybody else that's on that list, right? So if this is the case, the weakest person on this list by far is a Brianna Williams, which is barely under 11 seconds. But with that being said, they got enough cushion with the other athletes coming into form, and Elaine Thompson-Herah running what she just ran a 1071 2 weeks out, or was it 3 weeks out until the Olympics. And then she did it on a soft track. Now, how much does that influence? Is that 10 100ths of a second? I doubt it. I doubt it's 10 100ths of a second, or 1/10 of a second. Maybe it's 10 100ths of a second. Yeah, maybe that influences that much time. But I can't say a track surface does that much. Now, when it comes down to it, what is it going to take? Well, number one, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce has to run her butt off because she might be fatigued from doing the rounds of the 100 and the 200. You got to consider this. Elaine Thompson-Herah. Now, with her speed endurance training, I think she'll be in better shape, in better fitness. It's unlikely that she's going to run any of the rounds of the 4x1. We don't have to worry about that. She is far and above the leader of Team Jamaica right now, and especially winning the trials in the Jamaican 100. Now, here's Elaine Thompson-Herah, also unlikely to run through the rounds. Now, Shericka Jackson is probably going to be the one that runs through the rounds, but who knows? Because Elaine Thompson-Herah, did she not lose to Shericka Jackson in that Jamaican 100 and 200. At least with that, I wonder how the politics is going to play, because she now has the second fastest time for Team Jamaica. So I wonder what's going to happen, because that also will influence their open races. Because how will Shericka Jackson, if she runs through the rounds, fare in her trying to get either the 1 or the 200-meter championship, right? Gold. And then Elaine Thompson-Herah, if she runs through the rounds. This is a very interesting setup here for not only the 4x1, but the open 100 and 200, with their times being so close and all of it being very competitive with these Jamaican ladies and with the rest of the world. How would they go down there? We're having two different conversations right here. One, will they make the world record in the 4x1? But two, how will it affect the medals distribution between these women and the other women that are competing against them from the US, the Bahamas, and Trinidad and Tobago, or whoever else, by how they do it? Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is basically not going to run the rounds. It'd be very weird and awkward to see her run any of the rounds of the 4x1. But let's get back to on topic. This is what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to run a very, 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 very good leg by Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. I still think that she should come in with the anchor. Now, it also would be smart for her to run the second leg, because that means she'll run more distance on that back straightaway. I don't think she needs to run the curve. She's a very good straight runner. So it'd be weird to have her as either the second or the first leg. I would like to see Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce on the second or anchor leg. Now, Elaine Thompson, what does she have to do? And Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce still has to run very fast, because there's been twice that I've seen her run and somebody else actually pulled away from her on her leg. And I believe that was in I can't remember the year, so I don't even want to put it out before people coming in the comment section won't see that one person said, no, it was actually this, and then they put 1,000 comments there. But there were 2 times that Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce actually had an American pull slightly away from her. If you look at how the exchanges went down and where they went, they pulled away slightly from her. Also, she might have been running a little bit longer of a distance. But Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce has to run at her near max or 90% of her ability here. Elaine Thompson-Herah, she is a special case. You notice Asafa Powell on paper could beat most, like throughout most of the time that he has been running. He is the only athlete, he's one of the fastest athletes not to be able to get a gold medal or a medal at all in the open 100 at the Olympics. Just none. Now at the World Championships, 2 bronze. But as far as that, on a relay, you put him on a relay, look at this guy blaze past people. And I think Elaine Thompson-Herah is another one of those athletes that if you put her on the relay, no matter what she may have been doing in the open, no matter what she did on the open, she's going to give you and produce you a fast time and a fast leg most of the time. But she also has her own issues, and I think it's more mental than anything. Now, Brianna Williams, this is going to be a very, very interesting case. And what she has to do is she's going to have to run above herself. That's what I think. She isn't running any, she's going to be running the rounds, if anything, unless they literally save her for alternate leg. But I believe she's going to be running the rounds as one of the athletes for sure, running those rounds in that 4x1. So she's going to have to get through the motions. She doesn't have to worry about a 200, a 100 rounds. She's going to be one of the freshest legs on there. So with that being said, if she's one of the freshest people not having to worry about that, she's basically got to be in 100-meter open PR shape. Obviously, with running starts or however they do that, it's not going to equate to the same thing. But she has to be there. If she gives us a 11 and 11, 1 or 11 anything plus performance on that leg, and we got a fatigue for Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, Lane Thompson, and Jackson on those legs, Team Jamaica better just kiss the world record goodbye, because these 3 ladies are going to be running those rounds. And that's a very interesting thing. So Brianna Williams got to come with the Jets. She has to give a sub 11 performance, in my opinion, just to compensate for if Thompson-Herah and Fraser-Pryce and Jackson are fatigued a little bit, and they're not giving their 90%, but they're giving their 80, 85%. So here comes Jackson. Jackson has been showing strength. She kept running race after race after race in these last weeks at these Diamond League meets, right? And in these World Athletic Challenges, I think with the World Championship, they call it. So she has been coming here. She ran a 22 sub 22 and another race, and she was able to win those races. So with that being said, she's showing us some really good fitness. She can make it through the rounds in the 200. That shows me that. But I think she can still produce a very, very fast time when it comes down to this. I am most confident between her on here and Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce's newfound fitness with her speed endurance training. I don't think I have to worry about Jackson, as I'm calling her Action Jackson right now. So I think she can do it. The question mark is going to be Elaine Thompson-Herah and Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. I know people aren't going to like to hear it, but those two athletes are going to be the biggest question mark. Why? Because they got the most, if you look at their history on how they do their legs and just look at it with a non-biased eye, look at the other athletes there. They're not always going to produce their best times. It is what it is. That's just what it is, what it is. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce can give more leeway now. With her max time, she could give more leeway on her body, potentially. But hey, now let's look at this. Let's look at the best times. Now Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce got a 1063 here compared to when she had a 1070. Now Carmelita Jeter had a 1078. She was running right to form. She PR'd right at the London Olympics, which was good. Wasn't good enough for her to win, but it was good enough for her to peak out and be good enough to get that world record in that anchor leg, fastest anchor leg of all time for the 4x100 meter relay. Either that or the second fastest. So with that being said, if Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce and or Elaine Thompson-Herah, whichever one of those athletes, can peak out at the right time at the Olympics in Tokyo, that will bode well for not only their 100, but their 200, but the 4x1, since that's what we're focusing on. Now, coming down to Tiana Bartoletta. So they took Bartoletta. She's running pretty well. She peaked out at the right time, although she got fourth, right? Although she got fourth, she peaked out and ran her season's her best time of that season right in London at the Olympics. Now, if we can get a Shericka Jackson also to do that, because right now we got two athletes well ahead of Jeter and Bartoletta. That's where we get that cushion room, but that doesn't mean that they can do it on the day. You guys get what I'm saying? Now, let me know if you agree or disagree here. Now, coming down to Shericka Jackson, here we go. Allison Felix right there. I think you can see a clear time difference right here in the open times. Clear time difference. But again, Allison Felix peaked out at the right time. It was good enough for fifth place. We're not even talking about the open one. Like, oh, she didn't get a medal, they didn't get a medal. It doesn't matter. They got the world record. And they got the world record and a gold medal at London in the 4x1. That's what we're focusing on here. If these Jamaican women, no matter what the places or whatever they're getting, can peak out and run their best times or near their best times at the Tokyo Olympics, that's going to count for more than what they did a month ago, right? Or in June, or even in July. Elaine Thompson-Herah is peaking out pretty good here in July, but we're going to see just shortly. Now, Natasha Morrison, she ain't been running too hot. She has not been running too hot. So that's going to be a question mark of what she can do. If she can slide in one more race, if she can try to prove to them or whatever it is, the selectors of whatever order that they're going to go in or how they're going to run her, then yeah. Now, if she runs a blazing time in the heats there, they might have her in the finals. We'll see how that goes. But Brianna Williams, that's basically the next best athlete that they can have on there, right? Now, what Team USA did was they took, was it Bianca Knight from the 200 and used her in the 4x1, which was a smart move here for what they could do. Now, that proved to be an intelligent decision because they got the world record in the 4x100 meter relay. Now, what will Team Jamaica do? There's a lot of their athletes that are running in the 100 are running in the 200. They're the same. They're literally the same 3 athletes that made it in the 100 and the 200, right? So when it comes to that, what are they going to do? Well, they don't have more to pull from. This is their pool. They got it's a small nation, a small pool of athletes that they have. They're very strong in both of those. So they're going to have to rely on Williams, Morrison, Nelson, or something like that in their relay pool. So what do you guys think is going to happen here? I think that there is a chance that they could miss this again. I don't want to overhype anything or downplay anything, but I gave 2 videos before about them winning and setting this world record. But if we got to be honest, with ourselves and be objective here, on paper, they should be able to, quote unquote, easily, asterisk mark, easily get this world record with all of their athletes, even with Brianna Williams being at the time she was, I mean, she's gonna have to run above herself. But with that, they got so much cushion room. If we go by Elaine Thompson and saying, okay, she has the more recent PR compared to Fraser-Pryce, and Fraser-Pryce is gonna run a 10.7 something. All right, let's just say Thompson is the most the quickest athlete right now. Let's just say that, right? Well, with the cushion between Thompson and Jackson, especially with the fitness that Jackson has shown, Brianna Williams still got enough time there. It's going to be the question mark then with Fraser-Pryce. And like I said, Brianna Williams. So let me know your thoughts below, whether you agree or disagree with anything I've said here. I'm not saying, I haven't even said a definitive if they will or not in this one. This one is just questioning, will they miss it again? And I think this would be a perfect way for Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce if we were to crown her with anything. And you got to run, you got to work for it, you got to earn it. But if you were to crown her with anything, this would be the perfect way for Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce to go out her Olympics legacy, to go out with a 4x100 meter relay world record. If it were to go with anything, what do you guys think about that? Will she go out with a world record for her final Olympics, even though she's running the world championships from what she said next year? Will she go out? Do you think there is a high chance of her going out realistically, given all of the evidence that I just presented right now? With that, we got to look at this objectively. Given all of the evidence that I presented right now, do you think there is a high chance? Me personally, I think they still got it. After looking at that and doing the research for this, I actually think it will be a little bit closer than I originally imagined before. I was thinking that they will blaze the world record, but in this case, I think it might be a little bit closer. And it's no fans in the stadiums and whatnot. It doesn't really matter because these athletes know they got to be competing against the other athletes there. That I don't think that will do too much, because if you really look at the stadium at the Jamaican Championships, they still were running fast times, and it really wasn't that many people there. What their coaching staff, were there any real large amount of spectators? No, there wasn't that many spectators. I know some people that are listening to my channel, they actually went to the Jamaican Championships, or they claim they did. And then, so, I mean, you can confirm or deny whether there were a lot of people. I saw on the camera, there were, the stadiums looked like they were empty. So in this case, that means they can still run really fast times without anybody being there. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let's defeat this shadow ban on YouTube. I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to title this, because some people will not come out and search it unless they see the word Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce in the title, or Shericka Jackson or Elaine Thompson or something like that. Catch you all on the next one.